All right, my name is Mason Johnston. I'm from the Southeast Division, and my piece is called If a Rubber Ball Could Dance. Ooh, yeah, that is a tough question. Yeah, I would probably describe my style as, I would say a collage of just every kind of music that I've encountered over the past like 20 years of my life. So like, there's a bunch of classical in the beginning, obviously, but lately I've been kind of branching out into other genres. Like, I've had a little bit of jazz exposure, and also I played for a year in a rock band in the Atlanta local scene. So yeah, I have a pretty eclectic sort of background mix, but I try to kind of not make kind of a distinction between like, oh, this section is a classical sort of feel, or this section is like, oh, this is supposed to feel like a rock song. It's just kind of a blend. It's a mishmash. So I mean, I don't really want to put myself in a box, but if people want to describe me as anything, that's their prerogative. So.
Cool, nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, have you entered any contests before?
Oh, well, there was one. There was one I entered when I was in high school. It was like a local like competition for high schoolers, but the winner got their piece played by the Atlanta Symphony, and I won that second year I entered that, and that was pretty fun. I got to work with Joseph Young, who used to be the assistant conductor, and he also conducted the Atlanta Symphony Youth Orchestra, which I was also in later that year. So I got to work with him a lot, and that was really good. That was really fulfilling. That was a really nice experience for me.
Cool. What about the Rapido competition drew you in to apply?
Well, I had heard about it a bunch of years before because I live in Atlanta. I would go to the concerts that the winners had their pieces in. And one year I was kind of just like working and in a job, and I wasn't really happy with it. And I just kind of like saw that the competition was like getting ready to go. So I was like, well, screw it. Why not enter? Like, I have nothing to lose. So I figured, okay, 2 weeks. I'm going to take 2 weeks off of work and just dive straight in. And that's exactly what I did.
Nice. Did you find the 14-day restriction difficult? Was it easier or more?
Nah, it's like compared to other restrictions I've had in the past with my compositions, I'd say the Rapido was pretty good to have, because I used to go to festivals like Brevard where I would have less time to write more pieces. Like, I would have 4 weeks to write 4 pieces, and then in a certain instance, like, I would have like a couple days to write a piece. We'd had a text, of course, to work with, but it was a lot of. Nevertheless, it was still like kind of a challenge, because like we were grinding really hard at this, and it was like, well, I have all these ideas. How do I get them onto the page? How do I get them to cohere? How do I get them to speak? And then so I kind of spent the first week just like writing down stuff, and then I brought a couple of my friends over, and I was like showed them a couple of my pieces, and I was like, hey, does this feel cool? Like, how do I make it feel more like a you know, like something you can shake your booty to, you know, like it's just like I like getting feedback from my fellow musicians, and I also did that a lot, and that was part of the process.
Cool. If you had more than 14 days, would your piece have been better?
Who knows? I mean, I feel like deadlines give me like sort of a drive, so the piece might not have been better, but it would have taken longer to write. So there's that.
Did you have any different sense of contentment or different regrets after writing a piece so quickly?
Not really, honestly. As far as the piece itself goes, like I kind of just sort of let it all out, and then whatever it was, it's like that's what it was. And I wasn't really trying to judge it and say, oh, this is a good piece, this is a bad piece. The musicians are going to mess this up, or they're going to do this in a way that I don't like. It's just kind of like, well, we'll see what happens. Because I had no idea that it was going to be getting performed at the time that I wrote it. So,
how can a composition contest be of benefit to a composer?
That's kind of difficult, because contests are like this like you write, like everybody has like a different, very distinct musical language, and there's like it's getting judged against other people, so there's kind of that like sort of difficulty in sort of saying, in sort of accepting your work. You know, you have to kind of sort of have this abandon about it, and you can't go into it with the mentality of, oh, I'm gonna be judged, like this has to be perfect, because that's going to be very paralyzing. So this contest is, contests in general also are a good way of combating that and sort of saying, all right, well, who cares if this is getting judged? If I feel comfortable with it, then it is a good piece.
Awesome. Did you learn anything about yourself in the process?
Yeah.
So for example,
I did learn some things. But it was I feel like when I write a piece and I learn something from it, it's like usually like really hard to like sort of look back on it until all of the things are said and done. So, I mean, maybe I've learned something, but this experience isn't over, because like we still have the competition finals to come up. So I'm thinking, well, in a couple of years, once this all has been said and done, like I can look back on it and say, all right, well, this I was caught up in this habit, and I was obsessed with this kind of sort of gesture or musical philosophy. But I don't know right now.
Cool. Has writing on this deadline affected any successive pieces that you've done later? Is it?
No, I don't think it has affected so much of my music, because this was kind of a period, this past year has been kind of a period of, I actually took a year off from school, and during that period it was kind of just like, I wanted to take a break and sort of look back at myself and sort of piece together everything that I've learned. So this competition was kind of just like, sort of like a standalone experience. Like I wasn't really working on anything particular during that time, but it also kind of gave me a sense of the drive I would need in the future when I do have multiple projects and stuff on my plate that I'm working on. And it'll kind of give me an idea of the sort of the energy I need to direct towards that. So,
how do you feel about the possibility of being invited to write a piece for the ASO?
It's a really exciting opportunity, if it happens, of course. Because I grew up in Atlanta. I've known those guys my whole life. They taught me everything I know basically about music. Just watching their concerts and also like working with them in workshops and master classes and stuff of that nature. I would not be where I am without them. So the idea that I might get to write a piece for the Atlanta Symphony is just, I'm freaking out like right now. That like I don't even know if it's gonna happen yet. I'm already freaking out. So like you can kind of guess.
Yeah. What's next for you professionally?
Well, I'm still in school right now, so I'm gonna go back to school and do school stuff. So whatever, I mean, I don't know if I'm still gonna get to do professional stuff between now and when I graduate, but hopefully if I do, then they'll involve sort of writing music and getting my music out there and doing stuff in the music world, I guess.
Cool. Nice, that's it.
That's it?
All right, good job.
All right, thank you.
If Vanya might be